How is it you do it, Tom? What is up, everybody?
What's up, YouTube?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Welcome, everybody. This is the Killer Comic Show. I am Andy, aka Perpetual Comics, and this guy is Tom from where? Where are you from, Tom?
NotQuiteMint.com.
There we go. There we go. We didn't even rehearse this. So
Yeah.
it's just the two. It's just the two of us. It's just the two of us
We
tonight.
can make it if we
If
try.
just the two of us, you and I. Yes, it's
You
just
and
myself and Tom holding the fort tonight. As our captain of the ship, Charlie is busy at work, still at work, isn't going to be finished till 11. So we got there's no notice, like last minute notice as well, isn't there, Tom? It's great when you don't like. I almost prefer that because then I don't get nervous or the anxiety doesn't kick in. It's just a case of I won't be there. I was like, all right, okay, let's scramble to get everything ready.
It's a case of the shit's hit the fan. Let's just get on with it.
Exactly. And we couldn't not have a show specifically the day before Thought Bubble. Like, are you excited, Tom? You know,
no, not really.
Ready?
No, not really.
Can't be bothered.
I'm definitely not ready. I can put it that way. I mean, all these boxes behind me need sorting before tomorrow, so I'm definitely not ready. Excited? Well, you know, probably look a bit like a little kid at Christmas. He's just like
I'm
waiting.
kind of the same. It's like, you know, it's like that day before Christmas where you just want to open all your presents up and unwrap them. And the only thing I'm going to be able to unwrap is going to be you and Charlie. So looking forward to that, Tom.
Oh, mate. Well, I did give you a sneak preview before we came on because I had to change my top.
Ladies and gents, I did get a sneak preview. I was so tempted to go live a little bit earlier just to get those thumbs up. It was spectacular, let me just say.
Spectacular. I don't know how to describe this spectacular.
Yeah, wait till the weekend. But yeah, so let's before we move on to another show, we are going to run through the chat and see who is in. So we have the one and only noob Sean. I hope Sean's packed for tomorrow because he's coming to pick me up to go to the airport. Yeah.
And if he doesn't, it'll be his fault.
Exactly. He always gets the blame of things anyway. We have the Poptimist in the house. Looking forward to meeting the Poptimist tomorrow. And we've got Phil, Nerdiverse. I tried my best to talk Phil into going to this year's Thought Bubble, but I just couldn't do it. So hopefully next year we'll have Phil joining us as well. We have the one, the only, Mr. Not Quite Mint. We've got Shane, Donner Comics in the house. Thanks for joining, Shane. I appreciate it, buddy. Who else have we got? We've got Mark Oldroyd in the building. He's all packed with his comics and he's ready to go. Already, like, listen, I've been packed for 2 or 3 days, I must admit, but I've got a desk full of comics here that I need to pack away.
I don't know how any of you guys have found the time. I've not had any time to pack anything or get anything sorted, but there's nothing like doing it at the last minute that gives you a heart attack.
And that's the thing, we don't have like 33 jobs to deal with and saving people's lives and stuff like that, you know. So we've got good old me in the house as well.
Good old me. Did you just shout yourself out?
I did, yeah, why not? Here, listen, Tom, nobody else does it these days, so I'm gonna do it.
True. That is true.
We've got Real Rude 6 in the house. Really appreciate you joining, buddy. Thank you. We've got the Padawan Collector. Evening all. We've got Leon Russell in the house. Thank you so much for joining. We've got Comics versus the World in the house. Oi, oi. We've got Comics Talk Weekly. Phil is in the house. How's it going? Good to see you. I'm not too sure, Phil. But it's not as if we've been talking about it for the last 70 odd weeks. We've got GP in the house. How's it going, my man? Thanks for joining. We've got ABZ Comics. Thank you for joining. And we have the comic room as well. Evening bubblers. Good to see you. Wow, I don't know how Charlie does this every single Thursday.
I feel like
I'm exhausted.
There's no Charlie, and all these people have turned up.
You can just see it going from like 16 viewers just slowly but surely down as soon as they realise that the captain of the ship isn't here.
And it's all going to be calamity from now on.
Exactly. But no, thank you to everybody that's joined. As always, we appreciate everybody that joins on a Thursday. You could be doing other things and you choose to spend it with us, so we really appreciate it. And whilst you're there, if you want to hit that thumbs up, that would be much appreciated as well. Because if we get more thumbs up because Charlie's not on this show, then you'll get really annoyed. So we want that, Tom, don't we? So let's see if we can make a thumbs up record for this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to get a thumbs up record when he's not here.
Do you know what's going to happen though? Everybody's just going to go meh when the thumbs is down. It's like that.
We get all the thumbs down for this video because he's not in it.
Absolutely. But as we normally kick off, just to get us warmed up a little bit, we look at our pickups that we've got for this week. So, Tom, I know that you've had a bit of an issue with getting your stuff through.
So this week, I got some stuff from Diamond, but it was my what should have been delivered last week, and some of the books that were damaged got replaced. So I actually had this week. One of them that I'm going to show in a minute rather than now. And that's it. There's only one book I got for myself, which I will show in a little while. Other than that, I didn't get anything this week, which I should have got Venom. So anyone that is watching this is expecting Venom from Not Quite Mint, I do massively apologize. They told me they sent it. I paid the money for it. It didn't turn up. It's now coming either next week or the week after. But just so you all know, any of your comic shops that's having trouble with deliveries and trying to get books and stuff at the moment, Diamond has actually just been under attack by cyber.
Shane's just saying there, Diamond have been terrible lately. Yeah,
they have. Yeah, and basically just had a cyber attack. So they shut down shops. So their website's not working. Their orders kind of online stuff isn't working. So they're kind of crumbling a little bit. So just bear with all of your local comic shops. We are trying our utmost to get you the books as quick as we can, but we are in the hands of Diamond. If you do want to get your books really quickly, you could always go to limited edition because he gets his stuff directly from Marvel and DC. But stick with your local comic shops, guys, because they will do you solid.
Support your LCS. And speaking of supporting the LCS, I've got a lovely little segue here, and I'm just going to pick this bad boy up.
Speaking of local comic shops, you can get 30% off absolutely everything on Not Quite Mint at the moment. It is automatically happening in your when you get to your checkout. So once you get to checkout, put your books in, whatever you want. It might show you a big, massive total. Once you get to the checkout, it will cut directly 30% off. Nice. So it's good little cheeky deal. It's not currently on at this moment in time, so give it half an hour because I had to tweak something on the website, so it's having a bit of an update. But it is live, so after this show, everything will be 30% off until the end of December.
So. Nice, amazing. So go pick up yourself an absolute bargain. And I believe there's been a little bit of another update to the website where you've got these bad boys available.
Yeah, So yeah, basically, I've been selling my artwork for quite some time over the years on Etsy. And I thought, you know what? I own my own shop. Why am I paying Etsy to sell my stuff for me? So I branched out and I spoke to Tom Malin from The Art of Tom Malin, and I had a word with him. And I was like, can I put your art prints on my website? He was like, yeah, of course you can. So you can see how that meeting went. Just like, I was like this. Yeah, so do you fancy putting your stuff on the website? Yeah, no, that would be really nice. Thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers.
The thing is, Tom, I can completely believe you sitting talking to yourself, having that discussion.
I do it all the time. If you've ever watched Lee Evans, there's a sketch where he does a whole giving himself a pay rise. That was me.
Nice.
So yeah, you can get my art prints on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a few of your art prints, and they are absolutely stunning. So definitely go and check it out. If you take a little picture of that QR code, it should take you straight to the website as well. So if you're watching it live, get those phones out. And if you're watching this in the rewind, just take a quick snap and it'll take you straight through to notquitemint.com.
Brilliant. You've got a Judge Dredd on the way, mate. Right, I know I'm not bringing it with me to Thought Bubble because I know that your packages to take back with you are going to be quite small. But because we're going to do a bit of whatever you get, you're going to give me, I'm going to send you a big, massive parcel so you can have one of them as well.
Brilliant. I appreciate it, buddy. I think I have been sort of dropping subtle hints with the Judge Dredd going, you know, come on.
Subtle hints like a sledgehammer.
Well, you have met me. So so I did pick up a few books, so I'm going to very quickly run through the books if that is cool with everybody. So
go for it, mate.
You'll like this one, Tom. I don't know if you have this one, but this is Uncanny X-Force issue #1, but the J. Scott Campbell variant.
I do.
This was a little eBay find that I got for a really decent price, and it was packaged immaculately, so it arrived in really good condition as well. So this is actually, I think, going to be a contender to send away to CGC, all going well.
Nice. Have you seen
really,
the reverse one of that? There's only
no,
5 in existence, as far as I know. There's only 5 in existence, and it was a
right?
print malfunction. And basically, the red and the grey are the other way around. So she's
Oh, okay.
in like the background's red and they're all in
Yeah,
grey.
yeah, yeah.
They're all in red and the background's grey.
That's another book I'm going to have to add to the hunt list. Thanks for that,
Yeah,
Tom.
no
Appreciate
worries, mate.
it.
It's definitely, you can Google it and find it, like the
Yeah,
picture, but I've never seen it for sale. I just
yeah.
know
I'll
that there's 5 of them.
be an absolute ghost, I would imagine. There's probably one person that's sitting with those 5 as well. Those lucky
Yeah,
so-and-sos.
I bet
Next up, I
Jason
got
Campbell's
this.
got all 5.
But yeah, have a word. We've got Layla Star issue number 1. This is the David Mack variant. So I picked this up on eBay for £4, and I'm taking this to Thought Bubble to get signed because David Mack and Ram V are going to be at the show. So
Nice.
lovely. Next up, this
Do you know
was
whether or not
one of.
it will
Sorry.
sign well on one of those foil covers? Do you know what it's
Do you know
like
what?
on foil covers?
And that's the exciting thing. I've absolutely no idea, and I don't want to practice on another foil of mine. So I'm just going to go straight in
I'll bring one
with the
with me.
Sharpie. I'm just going to go with the Sharpie. Just go, see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you'd be fine, wouldn't you? If he signs it, just don't put it back in the bag for 10 minutes. Sure.
Or as long as he doesn't like lick it or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's not going on eBay anymore. This was one of 2 books that I picked up from the Hobgoblin Hideaway claim sale last week or the week before. This is Secret Invasion issue number 1, but this is the second printing. So this was one of the books I didn't have, and surprise, surprise, it was a £5. Absolute bargain.
That's nice. I like
3 other pickups from Facebook groups was the New X-Men issue number 133, New X-Men issue number 129.
Is that her first appearance, Dust?
Yes, these are all keys, I believe. I don't know exactly why they're keys, but I believe that is the first appearance of this character.
Yeah, I think it's Dust. I want to say Dust, but I might be wrong.
And this is I think this is like a mini key, so this is issue 118. But I'm trying my best to pick up all the issues on this run because it's a fantastic read.
I was going to say it's one of the best X-Men reads, and I think it's because it's so brutal, and the artwork really suits the brutality of that book. Who's the writer again? Who's the writer?
It's Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah, Grant
Morrison. Couldn't remember, but I know it's a brutal book.
And you always know when Morrison's doing work, he doesn't like cut any corners. It's straight in. And this is my big boy book that I got from Hobgoblin Hideaway. So this is a very sentimental book to me for many a reason. If you go into my Instagram, you'd have seen that I put up a post about it. But as soon as I saw that Tim had this for sale, to be honest, I won't tell him now, but I can tell him now. Actually, he could have told me any price, and I'd have claimed it. But this was the mask.
I swear your invoice comes back to you and it's like, actually,
exactly, yeah,
zero missing.
This was actually just 3 payments of that amount that you had to pay. So apparently this is one of 76 that's on the CGC census at 9.8, and this is the mask promotional supplement. So I had never seen one of these in the wild before. Nevertheless, a 9.8 slab version. So as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. So thanks to Tim and Lucy at Hobgoblin's Hideaway for making that happen. And it arrived in absolutely bomb-proof packaging as well. So really, really delighted to have that in the collection. And that's is my pickups. That wasn't a bad week, I don't think. I think that was
a really good week, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm going to see before we move on to the next one. I must remember, because normally Charlie does all this good stuff. I'm going to remember to look at the chat because that's what we do, isn't it? Let's look at the chat.
Mate, I need to cut that little bit there and turn it into an audio that we can play. Let's look at the chat.
It's one of those American TV shows, isn't it? ABZ Comics, I think I've got up to, let me see, anybody that we got here. So the comment room is saying, is anybody feeling like it's Christmas on Saturday? That's exactly what we said at the start. Yeah. It does feel that way. We have ABZ Comics saying it's Christmas every time the postie delivers comics for me. I'm pretty much the same. Yeah, my postie knows me in first name terms, but is an absolute diamond because they always make sure that they don't put it through the letterbox when they know it's a comic. They'll
mine's the same.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
I'll go drinking with my postie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They've started calling us Pat and Sam at the pub.
Are you the little cat?
No, Pat and Sam as in Postman Pat and Fireman Sam.
Oh, fireman! Oh, of course, I just got it. Yeah, sorry. Do you know what? I'm a little bit slow.
It's a long day, mate.
I'm too excited for the weekend to get those jokes.
Get some sleep
Let me
before tomorrow, mate.
let me see exactly. I need it. Tell me about it. Because what we normally do after the show is we're normally speaking for like an hour or an hour and a half. So by the time we actually get to bed, it's like 1 o'clock, 12
Yeah.
o'clock, 1 o'clock. So we won't be doing that. Let me see.
I got
ABZ Comics is saying they finally picked up Layla Star 125 just over 2 weeks ago for $14.99. Bargain. Did you read it? Yeah, ABZ. Let me know if you enjoyed it. It was one of your favourites. And Shane is looking forward to hearing what your thoughts on Dark Knights of Steel is. Stay tuned, Shane. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So what have we got up next? I'm just looking at our little schedule here. Yes. So this is probably going to be the last time that we play this little video. So if we can just all take a moment, guys, and cue the music.
It's not until you said it the last time we're doing this that tune then became really like.
Yeah, it was like. Wah, wah, wah. So for everybody that's been watching, you know that we have been doing the Road to Thought Bubble for I'd say the last say 12. I think we've done 12 creator spotlights on various people that are attending, and as it happens, I'm no longer attending Thought Bubble for various personal reasons due to COVID. But we really enjoyed putting those together. We hope that you guys enjoyed it, and it gave you an idea of what different books to maybe bring with you to Thought Bubble, or different books to go and find and read. We wanted to do something a little bit different this week, Tom. We wanted just to look at our top 5 books that we want to try and get signed at Thought Bubble. And it's fair to say that between myself, you, Charlie, and a lot of the people that we know that are going to Thought Bubble that are involved in the Killer Comics show, there's going to be a lot more than 5, but we've tried our best to narrow it down. Is that fair to say?
It's going to be a big old queue.
There is, yeah, and that's just waiting for us to get ours signed, to be fair.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to do this? Do we want to
go one each? You then me, then you then me?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So let me see. I'm going to go. I'm going to go straight in with the one that I'm going to get signed and CBCS by the Hobgoblin side of it.
CBCS one.
And I am going to go for Something That's Killing the Children, issue number 1, and this is obviously, I think this is a 7th print. This is a foil edition. So I'm lucky enough to have issue number 1 and 2 CG Seed at a 9.8. So I chose this because I'm going to get James Tynion to sign it in a lovely silver Sharpie. Ooh, and hand it over tentatively to Tim to say, Tim, please look after this. So that's my first book.
Taking my holy grail. So I've gone down the sentimental route of books. Okay. So when we first opened Not Quite Mint, we had access to a couple of very, very exclusive books from a company called 616 in America, which is how we first started Not Quite Mint. So I'm getting 2 of those signed, but the one I want to get CBCS'd is Homesick Pilots issue 1, the Megan Hutchinson cover. But it's not just going to be 1 signature, it'll be 2, because both Walters, the writer, and Wingard, the illustrator, are both at Thought Bubble. So it's like a double thing for me. And it's also really like personal, because it was one of the first ones we had. It was one of the first ones that come through the post, and it's the first one I kept. And it's also one of the ones that before Rich left Not Quite Mint to go off and do Swift Breaks and do his own thing, it was one of the first ones we agreed on that would be a book for Not Quite Mint. So it's kind of like a nice little things like, I've got it for me, get it signed, nice. And then I might actually give it to Rich eventually once it comes back if I decide to be nice.
And you will, Tom, because you're the nicest person in the world, to be fair.
Yeah, I get told that all the time. I need to get more mean. I need to get meaner.
Give it this weekend. You'll once you've met me, you'll get upset. No, that's it. That's I love the sentimental side of getting books slabbed. As I say, that's why I got that Mask book and picked that up. but I just think it means a lot more. And I think the fact that we're going to be at the show meeting some of these creators, whatever we do get slabbed, it'll be the memory of all of us meeting up at Thought Bubble as well, which will be cool.
And I think it's going to be this kind of whatever we get signed, whether we get signed, get it CBC'd or get it CGC'd, whatever you get signed, even if you get it signed just raw, just for your own personal collection. For those of you guys who are going to come and meet up with us and we're going to have drinks with, and it's going to make it so much more sweeter. So you'll always look back at that book and be like, oh, I got that signed in 2022 when we weren't, for the first Comic Con I've been to for a very long time. And I got to meet the Killer Comic Show guys and all the guys from the community who have been talking to in the chat. How cool is that?
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. And Mark's saying here that you can get it triple signed, Homesick Pilots.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think who the 3 signatures would be, but
it might be the cover artist.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I'm sure Mark will drop it in who the 3 are. We've got Comic Deal has joined. How is it going? I hope you're packed and ready to go for tomorrow, my friend.
I can't wait to find out if he's as huggable as I think he is.
Oh, he is. He definitely is. And Shane asked a really important question here. Are we taking our own Sharpies? And the answer is 100% yes. In our private chat, we have had a full-blown discussion about what we should bring to sign and what are the best pens and what we shouldn't bring and all that good stuff. So we were actually even showing each other what pens we're taking. So it's like a military exercise getting these signed. But very much take your own Sharpie. That is the secret.
I'm going to borrow yours because I'm not allowed to take Charlotte's.
Yeah, I've got like it's really sad to say, but I've got a pencil case worth of different Sharpies to bring. So
hell yeah.
We've got the Hobgoblin Hideaway is in the house. How is it going? You've literally just missed our first book, which is the book that we're going to get CBCS. So for you, Tim, this is a book that I'm going to get slabbed.
And me.
And Tom.
Oh yeah.
There we go. So those are the 2 that we're going to get slabbed CBC.
Speak of the Hobgoblin, he shall appear.
He did. He must have heard the rumblings. But number 2 on my top 5 list to get signed is going to be this absolute beauty. So this is House of Slaughter issue number 1. This is the 1 in 100 Jenny Frison cover. That's Jenny Frison cover, and I think this is absolutely stunning. And I've been sort of contemplating what pen to get this signed in, and I'm thinking maybe a yellow pen or just silver or gold might just go, because obviously there's tints of gold in his staff there. So that's my second book. Tom, what about you?
Well, not that I'm going to try and one-up you or anything.
You're going to show me the 1 in 200, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm getting exactly the same. But mine is the shiny 1 in 200. And this is the one I got this week for my own personal collection, which I've been waiting for a little while. So I'm excited to get this one signed, especially because it's a James Tynion, and I actually really enjoyed the story. And what's the cover artist called?
Jenny Frison is the cover artist.
That's the one. I can't say her name properly.
Leon is making the more when I say that out loud. Yeah, we have been showing each other our pens.
Got to get some of these funky signature bags, mate.
I don't care enough. I'm just going to ask him to sign it. Point where I want it to get signed, and that'll be it. Yeah, I'll just let you sign there, mate. Shane is saying glitter pens and throw some smelly ones in. Oh, here I never thought of glitter pens. I've got I don't have them here, but I have like magnetic ruby colored pens, which I was going to like throw in there as a side curve. But yeah, glitter pens. We never thought about that.
Oh, yeah, good.
And Tim is saying that he saw our book, so that's cool. That's awesome. Who's next? Oh, I'm next. So
me.
It's me. Next up, I'm going to take Haha issue number 2, and this is the second printing, and this is going to be getting signed, hopefully all going well, by Zoe Thorogood, who we done as one of our
for issue 7. Mark said it earlier on in the chat.
For issue 7, all right, okay, cool. So yeah, looking forward to this, and it will be interesting to get this signed, and maybe even ask just if she'd do like a little quick remark on it as well if she's not 100% busy. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's Haha issue number 2.
That's awesome, mate. I'm sticking with the James Tynion run. as it were. And I'm going for Batman 108, first appearance of Miracle Molly. And I'm going for the Carla Cohen variant black Virgin cover, which was exclusive to Not Quite Mint.
Nice. That's awesome.
I do love how realistic she looks.
Yeah.
For a paint, and it's a painting, which is really amazing. So
yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. No, that's a good pick. I'm going a little bit oldish school with my next one. And I couldn't go without getting Jock to sign one of my covers. So I've picked Batman Detective Comics issue 871.
Nice.
But this is the second printing, which is reasonably hard to find nowadays, and goes for quite a bit on the aftermarket. So this is just primed in the middle just for a lovely silver or gold pen, or a red one perhaps. Nice. So hopefully I'll be able to get that signed. I was trying to get issue 880, sorry, a second copy of that, because I have it in a 9.4 in a green label because it's signed by Scott Snyder, and I was actually tempted to crack it open, which I might still do, and get it signed by Jock and CBCS. But
I would, because then you can get them both. Yeah, and then you can get the yellow label.
I'm so nervous to get it done, just cracking open slabs and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. Tom, have you got your next one?
So my next one is on the same sort of lines as what one of the ones you've just shown. So I've gone for David Mack as well, but I've gone for the Daredevil reprint of issue 25, which is the first appearance of Elektra in the Daredevil outfit. I absolutely love this cover. This is one of my favorites that we've picked up for Not Quite Mint.
Yeah, it's lovely.
This is the last Virgin one I have. So I'm looking forward to getting it CGC'd. But it's got a huge spine tick down one side, so it won't be a 9.8.
It's not going to be a 9.8. Does that bother you? Like,
no. It's more of a sentimental thing.
Yeah, it means more to you than the number. No, that's fair to
absolutely
say. The Comic Room saying he's taking his 1 in 40 Virgin cover of House of Slaughter.
Do you know what? I didn't get my ones of those a couple of weeks ago because of the fact that they were damaged. So they didn't send them. They arrived yesterday, and they are actually my favorite cover over the Jenny Frison one. When you hold them in your hand, they look so much nicer. It's the house, the nice house on the lake homage, and it is actually a lot nicer in person than it is seeing it on screen.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if I've got one to hand to show, but yeah, if I do, I'll show you in a bit.
Nice. And James is, Shane is just saying here that you ever taken a book to get signed and they open it up and signed in the inside page rather than the cover? I haven't had that happen to me, but I have had creators who will not sign it unless they dedicate it to you, or they say like to Andy and then sign it. So obviously to stop you from selling it on or whatever, or putting it on eBay. But have you had it signed inside?
Yeah, signed on the inside. Yeah, I went to Transformer convention a few years back, and I got to meet the voice of Bumblebee. So I took my Bumblebee issue 1 with me, which is, I think it's like almost like a foil cover, as it were. It's like a 1 in 100 or 1 in 50 or something like that. And he went, "Oh, I can't sign it on there." Opened it up, and before I could say, "Please don't sign on the inside," he just scribbled his name to Tom. Thanks for coming to TF Nation, blah blah blah. And then I was like, "Oh, it wasn't even for me. It was my cousin."
Yeah.
I was like, "Please,
put
my name in there."
Oh, it's an absolute nightmare. Comic, no, this is you. The Comics Room is saying it's so quick on the chat. It's going past me. Carla Cohen is absolutely amazing. You should definitely go and check out Carla's Instagram. Some of the stuff on there is absolutely superb. Shane is saying that cover is banging, and Mark is saying that he needs to find his haha too and load it into his van. I can imagine Mark just driving up it with a van full of comics to get
I like the idea. I love the idea of them opening up the doors, the shut doors, and he just pulls in.
He just pulls in. Yeah.
Just pulls in against like each other, like the artist, like hands over the books out of the van. It's like that and that pile.
Or even better, he opens up the van doors and Tinian falls out because he's been sitting in there signing all his books.
It's just like that. It's got really bad cramp in his hand where he's like been signing all night.
Exactly. James is saying here that he's taking his Batman TMT for Tinian to sign and get Jock Variant Noctera And that's probably do for me. All right, he's only taking a couple. I don't think James is that really bothered about getting stuff signed and stuff like that.
So we'll just hand stuff to James to get signed, isn't it? It's a little
Exactly.
bit
If there's a limit, then James is going to be up to his limit with all our books that we're going to do.
Yeah, James, take this.
Triple G is in the house. How's it going, my friends? Triple G is taking everything to Thought Bubble. And once you've watched our show, guys, make sure that you go and watch Triple G's show. He done a show on the Eternals. So if you haven't seen the Eternals and you're not bothered about spoilers, go and check that out. That's on Triple G's channel. Okay, I'm going to show my last now.
Your last?
This is one of yours, Tom.
Oh,
this is John Zhang.
Oh, mate, that is by far my favorite cover for the Nice House on the Lake. And I stupidly sold one too many on notquitemint.com. So I actually don't own one myself.
Really? Oh, mate. Well, listen, if you can have this one. You can have this one, my friend. I'll get it signed for you, and that'll be my gift to you.
No, mate, I've got far too many books. I don't need any more.
I don't want any more. So yeah, as I say, guys, I've got tons more. Like I'm going to get this signed by Jock. That's one of his older
I like
books. LeBron James, King James cover by Jock as well. So and Ram V, Layla Starr, obviously going to get that signed as well. So I'm surrounded by books here, but we tried to narrow it down to the top 5. So I've slightly cheated a little bit here. But Tom, what's your 5th?
So my 5th and final one is another sentimental one, but this one I am going to probably get CGC with Scott's, to be fair. And this one is mainly because this was the first book we ever got for notquitemint.com, and I'm excited to get it signed. And it is my John Boy Myers cover for something. We only find them when they're dead.
Yes. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite covers he's ever done. And not just because it's my first ever exclusive for Not Quite Right. This is the first comic we ever sold as a company. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this one sold. This one is for my own personal collection, and I cannot wait to have it back.
Nice.
If he doesn't get a 9.8, I might cry, but I don't really care.
Yeah. No, I love the fact that the ones that you're taking, or at least your top 5, the ones you're going to get graded, whether it be CGC or CBCS, they're all got that sentimental factor about it. So
they're all from Not Quite Mint, mate. Every single one I've shown are ones we've had on the shop.
Yeah. So this has just been a promo. This is a promo exercise. Get to Not Quite Mint and see what else is there. 30% off.
Yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. So let me just run through some of the chat here. I can see Firehawk has joined. How's it going, my friend? Thank you for
the
joining.
Hawk of Fire.
Indeed. ABZ is saying that he's thought of kitting out his maxi mover van with long boxes would be pretty cool. That is an awesome idea. And Shane is saying that he took a massive carry-on with me full of comics that was so heavy that the latch broke and I had to carry it both arms for the whole con. When I was there in 2019, I'm sure it must have been dealers who were taking up like at least 3 or 4 long boxes, but they had one of those sort of wheelie things to carry them in. And we'll just load them up next to the sign, like Donna Cates's desk, and he was just signing away. No care in the world. So yeah, the chat is absolutely bouncing. I'm struggling to keep up. I think everybody's talking to each other. So with that in mind, we don't really need any excuse to play this bit of promo video. But do you know what? Let's do it.
Longest intro ever. I have actually shortened it to 15 seconds.
Listen, I love it. It gives me a wee excuse because I can see everybody dancing on the StreamYard, just going like that. Yeah. So this is Killer Covers, and this is Killer Covers that were, or should have been at least, released yesterday, because I know that Diamond were having lots and lots of issues. Now, just to let everybody know that, you know, the last couple of weeks have been quite competitive with myself and Tom and Charlie. Charlie's obviously not here to defend his book. So we'll need to promote it as best we can, Tom, for him. We won't be able to vote either because obviously I'm not logged into Charlie's YouTube. But what I would ask to do is once we've shown the 3 books, just let us know in the chat who you prefer. We'll maybe try and do a bit of a count and see who wins. But it's not about the winning, guys. It's about the taking part.
Yeah, and the only people that say that are losers.
Losers. So I believe you won last week, Tom.
I did, mate. I think it's 3 for 3. Me versus you.
Whatever. So you have to defend your crown. So let's look at the first book that is up. We have my book. So obviously we're starting the way. We're starting high, and it's only down from this point. I might add. So we've got Vampirella issue number 25. So for anybody that looks at previews and sees the amount of Vampirella books that are out, there's a squillion billion different types of covers.
So many.
They're probably the reason why there's a paper shortage, to be fair. But this, guys, this is an absolute banger. I wish that every Vampirella cover was as good as this. This is the J. Ferguson Virgin variant. And I think there's no much I need to say about this. This is going to sell itself. Look at this guy from top to bottom. This is absolutely spectacular. Tom, tell me what's wrong with this cover.
I can't say there is anything wrong with this color, but cover. I can't say there's anything wrong with this cover, apart from the fact that she seriously needs to eat something. I mean, that's some serious ribbage going on like her obliques are literally, you can just see her rib cage. She needs to eat something drastic quite quickly. The only thing I might just pick up on it is I'm not keen on this kind of monotone realistic look. I like the monotone when it's not a realistic image. However, this is quite nice as the cover goes. So
wait a minute. You just showed us a realistic Carla Cohn cover.
Oh, no. That's not. She's not monotone. Yours is only 2 colors.
That's true.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. But
yeah, mind you, naked.
Yeah, come on, look at this. This is absolutely spectacular. I think so. Anyway, this would make me buy Vampirella issue number 25, which is clearly not on my pull list.
But who's the artist?
J. Ferguson.
J. Ferguson.
Big Fergo. Yeah.
Big Fergo.
Yeah. So what is everybody? There we go. Mark knows a good cover when he sees one. Absolutely.
But is he voting for you? Is the question.
Listen, we'll never know. We'll never know in this one.
We're not counting every time someone says the word banger.
We'll get James saying it's so hard to pick a Vampirella out of the 4,235. He's absolutely right. Okay, I think there's no much more I can say about this one. Charlie isn't here to diss this book anyway, so
no,
let's look at the next one. Next one up.
So the next one up is my book. So I've picked issue 1 from Next. And I've picked this book because I think it is absolutely stunning. And also, I like the fact that this is the Virgin variant, which has a secret about it, which is the fact that it glows in the dark where it's pink, which is pretty cool. This is by Rose Breach, and it is absolutely stunning. I love the fact that she's got the flame mohawk. I like how realistic it looks, but how kind of like Japanese anime the whole thing looks as a whole. I really love this cover. Yeah, vote me,
Tom. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this cover too. There's a black and white variant of this as well, which is particularly lovely. I think it's more about the color for me of this cover.
Well, she's using not quite mint colors, mate.
Well, there you go. It sells itself, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'll give you that, Tom. This is a good choice, and would have probably been in my top 3 books, second.
Yeah, I think it definitely would be in my top book, and Vampirella down here somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, equal maybe. James has seen here that Rose Besh is absolutely phenomenal, and she absolutely is. The best Rose Besh cover that I've seen that I didn't manage to pick up was the Wonder Woman cover.
Yes.
Was it Wonder Woman? Yeah, Wonder Woman issue number 5, I think it was.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was absolutely stunning. But yeah, no, good. Yeah, well done.
We've both gone down the Dynamite route, so hopefully they're both explosive covers.
Get out. Next up, we have I mean, what can we say about this cover? We'll get Venom issue number 1. This is a Yun Gwen Yun. Apologies if I
Yun
butchered
Gwen.
that.
You
And this
can
is the
you can
double
you.
Yun Gwen Yun, and this is a double exposure Virgin variant, if you will. Tom, what do you think of this one?
I quite like it. It's by limited edition. So Rich Ems has got these available on his website if you are interested in picking these up. And it's the lovely thing about these is if you've got the old 3D glasses, they do pick up a 3D image of the skeleton inside Venom. So it's very cleverly done. It's very nicely done. I just don't know if it's to my cup of tea, this kind of thing. I like a cover to be like, like exactly what it is, like a cover. I'm not keen on the 3D covers, but I do like it. I like the idea that he's got a skeleton in there that you can see it.
Absolutely. No, I think it's really cool. The only concern that I have about these books is where does it end?
Yes.
So how many other characters are they going to do with this 3D skeleton effect, and when do we start getting a little bit sort of bored of it? It's kind of like the Patrick Gleason type effect where it's all the squiggly lines and stuff like that. So, but it's a great cover, and I think it's pretty much sold out everywhere.
Yeah,
James,
sure. Possibly he's got some trades left. I'm not sure about Virgins though.
Okay, and Shane is saying here that it looks more like a trading card, and it actually probably does. It
Yeah,
does look
to be
like
fair. Yeah, now when you point that out, definitely, I would say it looks more like a trading card. It's very down like. Do you remember Boris Vlagio and Julia Bell? They did some of the original kind of painted artwork for the Marvel cards. This is very similar.
Okay, cool.
Yes, James.
And James is coming out with a Jamesism, as only James can do. Double exposure variant. Last time I done a double exposure, I spent some time behind bars. Okay, we'll find out more about that at the weekend, I'm sure, when we go on Instagram Live.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Panels and Pints Instagram Live. That might be a good idea, or a really bad one, to be fair. So, guys, this is our 3 covers. As I say, we can't do the whole voting thing, but do you know what? Maybe just for this particular show, will we call it a draw? Three-way tie, as it were.
Do we want to call it a draw between me and you?
I guess we can,
because
unless Charlie sees this in the rewind and then
wait,
both of us.
Charlie's popped it up on the which cover wins.
Oh, he has as well.
He has.
Charlie, you should be working. That's shocking. Right, everybody, you can go ahead and vote as long as you vote for Vampirella issue number 25. So thank you, Charlie, for doing the business there in the background. We appreciate you.
It's only because we just literally talked about doing a draw.
Because we're going to make him third. He was like, no, I better get this done. So Tim is saying there, the proportion of the Venom remind me of the Liefeld Captain America. Absolutely, as you say that, you're probably absolutely right.
To be fair, yeah. I mean, that chest is not, is it? I don't know. That's not legit. That's some serious Roy.
Tom's got a Liefeld body.
Oh my God. Brilliant. Can you imagine if I rock up tomorrow and it's like, oh God, you really do have a Liefeld body. Massive, massive, and then teeny weeny tiny feet.
And no feet. Yeah, it's like, what's going on? So, guys, that is our 3 books. Get voting, please. Just make sure that you don't vote for Charlie because he's not here. That would be great. Yep. And what we're going to do now, guys, is we are going to move on to our killer comic reviews. This is week number 44, and we are reviewing 4 books. So we are reviewing Newburn, issue number 1. We are doing Strange Academy Presents The Death of Doctor Strange, issue number 1. We are doing Dark Knight Steel, issue number 1, and we're doing the Silver Coin, issue number 6. So first up, we have Strange Academy Presents The Death of Doctor Strange, and we have a main cover by Gilberto Ramos. We've got the Peach Momoko Venomized variant, which I actually quite like. It looks mental. And cool. We have the Nico Henrichon variant cover. Please just commit. I've just committed. I'm just committing with that name.
That's what I do. Just commit and then apologise after.
So Scotty Young, that's exactly. Scotty Young is obviously writing this particular book.
He didn't. He didn't.
Did he not write this one?
No. No, he wrote all the bits at the back. It was actually been written by somebody else. The main story.
That absolutely tells me a lot. That explains a lot of things. But do you know what? I won't spoil it for everybody. Tom, This was your pick, I believe, for this
It
week.
was my pick. And okay, so I picked this book because Strange Academy has been one of the most consistent books that I've enjoyed to read coming from Marvel. It's been different. It's been something that I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed the character development. I've enjoyed the fact they've taken these characters you've never heard of and just done a completely different spin on it. It's very what I can imagine would have been like when you first read X-Men. I can imagine this is what it's kind of like, but for our generation now. So I picked this book up thinking it's going to be really good because it's to tie into the Doctor Strange books, The Death of, which have been pretty good, not amazing, but they've been okay. And this is a direct tie into that, or as I was told, it was going to be a direct tie into that. The premise behind this story is you get to find out about the Enchantress and what deal she made to protect her two sons, or like whatever. Oh, sorry, I've got that wrong. She's made a deal which doesn't protect her two sons. Basically, she has to give up her one son, her firstborn child, to a demon if she ever has one, but she doesn't think she's going to have a child. Then she has twins. So this demon comes, like, basically Doctor Strange dies. This demon comes back from wherever he is because Doctor Strange got rid of him and said, "I'm over my dead body. Will you ever come back?" He's obviously dead. This demon's turned back up. He's after one of these children. It sounded like a really good story. And it sounded like, oh, I could get behind this. You know, it sounds pretty cool. You got this demon coming back. You know, Doctor Strange died. He's coming to steal one of these children. Will he take both? Because they're twins. And that's where literally the synopsis is where it leaves. That's it. Don't bother with it. Honestly, I think this book is really, really poor. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was. If the best thing to describe it as, it was just a filler story that was completely unnecessary to any part of the storyline to go on with Doctor Strange or Strange Academy. Nothing happened in it that would make me think, oh, well, that's vital for a little bit later on in the story, or oh, that's vital for the death of Doctor Strange. However, it did redeem itself right at the back. At the back of the book, there's about 5 different pages, only 1 page spreads, where it goes against each individual character coming from the Strange Academy. So they've all been sent home because of the fact that Doctor Strange has died. So they've all been sent back home. So all these 1 pages have been written by Scott Young and drawn by Herberto Ramos, and they're absolutely stunning. And one of them has no dialogue at all, and it's amazing. However, I think the book should have been all about those pages. The actual story for this book was really poor, and I didn't enjoy it. What did you think, Andy?
Let me start with the positives. So for me, I thought the art, is it Mike Del Mundo was doing the artwork?
It's a different artist yet.
Yeah. So I thought the artwork was stunning. I really, really enjoyed the artwork. It was kind of like that painted watercolor throughout the book. Yeah. And it kind of added to the sort of weird world that we found ourselves in this particular issue. Other than that, I think the key word here is filler. In fact, I would probably go as oh, it sounds so negative, but I'd absolutely go as far as saying that this was probably the winner of the filler of the year. I'm going to call it now.
If we had a little like golden stamp to bang up, or like a little brown stamp to bang up and be like filler of the year, this is it.
We only have the killer one, but we should definitely think about doing a filler of the year. I think unnecessary is probably the key for this. I think I would have, because obviously we've done up to issue 12 of Strange Academy, which I've really enjoyed. We have gone into issue number 13 and onwards. For me, what I would have loved to have seen is almost like, you've got like one of those end of year books where you see all the character, or you see all your classmates' pictures and a little bit of synopsis about the year. I'd have loved if they'd have just brought out a book of that, so you can look through all the characters and just remind yourself. And it almost feels like a companion book to go with the series to get you almost warmed up for issue 13 and beyond. I just think they tried to shoehorn in the death of Doctor Strange, which, again, for me, the second issue was good in Doctor Strange. But how far can they take this? And it was just, as you say, completely unnecessary. It was a filler issue, and I'm not entirely sure if I was glad that I read it, to be honest with you. So I'm completely blaming you on this one, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'll take it. I'm not doing very well these last few weeks. I've not done very well since I picked the Wreckers. It's just gone downhill. And I'd reread the records over this.
I wouldn't go that far, so let's move on to the next one. No, this wasn't great, guys. I'm interested if anybody else in the chat or even in the rewind, if you want to put in the comments, if you actually read this book and did you enjoy it? What did you think of it? Let us know if you thought the same as us or if you enjoyed it. We'll go into the second book, Tom.
Let's do it, mate.
Second book is Newburn, issue number 1. So we've got the main cover here by Jacob Phillips. We've got cover B by Tula Lotay, the fantastic Tula Lotay. And then we've got a little cheeky variant there. It looks like a store exclusive by Eric Donovan. And this was written by Chip Zdarsky. And the artwork was primarily done by Jacob Phillips. And I know there was like a second story after the main story on this one. So this was my pick of the week. And I really enjoyed this. I've read lots of reviews about this where people didn't enjoy it, but this one is one of these books where you maybe need to read it 2 or 3 times to get it, which isn't always a great thing when you've got lots of books to read during the week and very little time. But this effectively centers around a character called Easton Newburn, and he's like a private detective. He doesn't have any sort of loyalties, and he's investigating conflicts between rival crime factions. And obviously, with any sort of gangster underground factions, there's lots of deaths, there's lots of murders that goes on, and what we'll find is that someone has been stealing from the mafia, and the person is killed, but the mafia weren't the ones that actually ordered the hit. So the sort of the cool twist in this is that this private detective is actually not working for the police. He actually works for all the mafia organizations, which is the cool aspect to it. I think that's the unique selling point for me of this book. I really enjoyed the premise. I thought it was kind of if you like your gritty sort of crime noir books, then this is definitely one that will be right up your street. It definitely felt a little bit like you could mistake it for like an Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips book. It had that sort of feel about it. If I know there's maybe a few people in the chat that have read those books, it definitely had that. And the way that Chip Zdarsky sort of split this book up, it definitely felt like you were reading or watching, as it were, a TV show. It was like this almost felt like the first episode, and you had that sort of EastEnders doom 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 bit at the end.
Yeah.
Whenever those, I guess we won't do spoilers, but when there's a major sort of plot twist at the end, which sort of builds you up for the next few issues. The main character for me felt like a little bit like Columbo if he had like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, definitely.
that's kind of the vibes that I was getting from this. And what I liked about this is it didn't just leave the twist in the story to the end. With Chip Zdarsky, you're always going to get twists and turns, and it felt like you're on a little bit of a roller coaster, which I can see why it would challenge people to enjoy this book, because you were going back and forward and twisting and turning. And the narrative wasn't from the main character, it's from someone else who you don't know who that is. So I don't know if you realised that, Tom, when you were reading it. It wasn't actually
I did, but did you realise who it was?
I didn't realise who it was. I didn't know if it was Emily, the person that was doing the sort of diary.
I believe it is. I believe it's the girl that's in it that he's talking to at the end.
Right.
I believe it's her.
I think this book, of all the books that we read this week specifically, and for quite a long while, this book made me think, and I enjoyed that. It wasn't just sort of cookie cutter. There was lots of twists and turns. There was a good bit of character development in this. I feel as if I'm connected to the characters, and I want to find out more about them. So for me, this was definitely a killer for me. Tom, I'm really, really interested to find out what you think about this one.
I thought it was absolutely terrible. I thought it was the worst book I've read this week. I thought it was worse than Strange Cat. No, I tell a lie. I couldn't agree more with everything you've just said. If you're going to do a first issue, do it like this, because I totally agree with you. I felt like I was watching a TV show. The twists and turns in a book normally annoy me, and I'm like, oh God, I can't be asked to use my brain. I don't read comics to use my brain. However, this one literally got me hook, line, and sinker within the first couple of pages, and I was like, this is really interesting. I really like this. And then they
Yeah.
twist and turn it, and you see other parts of it. But yeah, totally agree that it's a bit like a TV series, and I'm in. I really want to know what happens. I'm 100% in and want to read issue 2. And I think Chip Zdarsky is such an amazing writer that within the first issue of this book, I already have got investment in all of the characters, in him, and then the girl at the end.
Yes.
I've got investment in them. I've got investment in the mafia I've not even met yet that they keep talking about. I want to know about these two warring factions. And you don't normally get that from a first issue. Normally you just get your main character, your antagonist, and that's it, really. You kind of just get those kind of characters in your first issue to then go and digest. This gave you so much. I almost felt like it was like 2 or 3 issues rolled into one.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
There was a lot to take in. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost felt like a decent graphic novel, but like in one book. And I really enjoyed it, mate. It was definitely a killer. I wouldn't say it was my favorite book this week,
Right.
but it was definitely up there, because, you know, we're going to talk about another book. But this is definitely one of my favorite books this week. Definitely.
Brilliant. No, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, because I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure what the reaction was going to be, because I did find it quite a lot to take in, and that's why you had to read it a couple of times. But I think if this book does anything, it just shows you the brilliance of Chip Zdarsky and how diverse it is. If you look at this compared to issue 7 of Crossover, if you look at it compared to Daredevil, if you look at it compared to Stillwater, all those books are completely different stories, completely different, you know, imagination, and he seems to nail every single one of them. And the reason that he does it for me is because he makes you invested in the characters. You care about them from the very word go. So my proverbial tip the hat to Chip Zdarsky. I think he is probably my favorite writer of the year, I would say. But yeah, that's just me. But yeah, that was Newburn issue number 1. This was definitely a killer for both of us. I seen Shane had put there that the main cover is very Exorcist. It absolutely is. I would obviously go for the Tula Lotte cover. I think that's stunning. I think the color work in that is beautiful. So that is Newburn issue number 1. Next up, we have Dark Knights of Steel. And this was a Tom Taylor written book from DC, and absolutely fantastic Yasmin Putri done the artwork. We've got the main cover there by Yasmin Putri. We have the Midtown Comics exclusive by our good friend Alan Quay. We have the fantastic Carla Cohen Virgin Variant cover C, which is stunning. And then we have the Kale Ngu, is that how we say it? Virgin Variant B. Missing the Joshua Middleton cover, which quite upsets me, because Joshua is one of my favourite artists. But we'll let Charlie away with that.
We'll have to have a word with the man upstairs, won't we?
Exactly. So I can't remember. This was Charlie's pick, if I remember rightly.
It is Charlie's pick, yeah. So this was the premise on this is basically that DC have done what they, you know, something that they like to do, where they like to completely turn their universes upside down and change all the stories and everything. But the idea of this is it's very similar to like Deceased, and some of the other stuff they've got going on. So he's literally just telling a completely different story, but with all your favorite characters. And in my opinion, Tom Taylor does it again in this one. So for this one, it's essentially that they're in a medieval kind of, you know, different timeline to what they are normally. So this is all set in the medieval times, you know, back in the day of swords and dragons and that kind of thing. And what would our DC characters, what would our heroes be like if they were in that era? And I think it's absolutely amazing what Tom Taylor has done with this. It's like Jor-El and Kal-El's mom, whose name I can't remember, have landed on Earth. Rather than sending Kal-El, they've come as well. So you've got Superman's mom, Superman's dad. They're all here on Earth, and they've become the king and queen of this realm. And Bruce is their knight, and he's got the Robins. They're all like his little knights, like little scouts. And then you've got Harley Quinn, who's actually a jester in this. She's not just a jester; she actually is a jester. And then the characters that they come across while they fight go into the dungeons, which is pretty cool. You don't get to find out about this a little bit later on in this issue. I really enjoyed it. I think Tom Taylor's done a fantastic job in changing things around and making it fun. This was my favorite book this week just because of how much fun it was to read. And I liked the art style in it. I thought it really lent itself to this kind of medieval style kind of story that he was trying to tell. I'm not sure the plot twist in it was necessary. I think that was a bit meh, but I will leave you all to read it and see what you think. But I did really enjoy it, and I am looking forward to seeing more of it. But I do think Tom Taylor's one of the best writers for taking your standard characters and making them something different that you might not necessarily like or enjoy, but he's done something different, which I like. I just think it needs more. We need more of that. Like, take our normal characters that we like and make them different. Make them do something you wouldn't expect them to do.
Yeah,
Like
no, that's it's interesting because I'm completely the opposite, Tom, on this one.
you
I'm
hated
sorry.
it?
No, hate's a very strong word. I didn't hate it. It certainly wasn't my favorite book. I mean, it was a fun book. I think we can all agree on that. It's kind of a 28 pages of kind of a nice world building, and we get to see lots and lots of characters, but it just lacked substance for me. It just lacked something. I don't know what it was I was expecting. I think whenever you're basing characters that you're well known and you know them in this sort of medieval world, I think you've got a huge playground to work with, and you're almost expecting it to be dark, a lot darker,
Yeah.
a lot more medieval, and this just wasn't. This for me was just held together because of the familiarity that we had with the characters. Albeit they've got new clothes and it's a different setting, but for me, I need more than just seeing Batman dressed up as a knight to enjoy the book. And to be fair, nothing actually happened in this story until
Yeah.
I think it was maybe the last 3 pages. Now I'm going to spoil it for everybody, so apologies. But when Jor-El gets hit with the arrow in the eye, that's one thing that happened, and that was in the last 3 pages. Don't understand why he get hit in the eye with the arrow, but then we find the plot twist at the end, which is Martha Wayne has basically been having hanky panky with Superman's dad. And you that's the last kind of a page, and you're going, right, okay, right, okay. So I'm expected to pick up issue 2 based on getting shot in the eye with an arrow and Martha Wayne having fun with Superman's daddy. So we obviously find out that Bruce Wayne, i.e. the knight in shiny armor, is Jor-El's dad. It kind of felt like this book's kind of wanted to be like an 18+ book, but it was written with a teenage audience a lot of the time. I think if I was like that, 14, 15-year-old reading this, I'd have thought, oh, this is great. But for me, it was just too light and fluffy. And the only selling point was we got to see Batman riding a horse.
And Alfred.
And Alfred riding the horse. So for me, this was disappointing for me. I was really, really looking forward to it. And it's a major thumbs down for me.
I liked it.
Sorry, Tom.
That's all right. I think it's just because, I suppose, if I hadn't have been tired and I hadn't have been out and worked hard, and I'd come home and had to read something with my brain, I probably would have thought about this a little bit more. But because I read this when I was tired and it just was really easy to read, I found it fun. That's probably why it's my favorite book this week.
I get, and I can understand that. I think it's one of those books where you don't need to invest a lot of yourself into it.
No,
it's
not
kind
at
of
all.
like, oh, cool. There's Batman on a horse in a suit of armor. There's Superman looking cool with his Tudor top on and all the rest of it. I just wanted to be a lot darker. I wanted to see people just knocking the proverbial out of each other, and sword action and gauntlets and all that good stuff. But all we really seen was a kind of a feeble arrow in the eye.
Yeah, definitely.
That was it.
But thinking about it, Newburn probably is the better book to read this week, as it goes, because it's a brand new book. You get brand new characters. You get massively invested in those characters. This is probably a fun read if you don't want to think about what you're reading. If that makes sense. Yeah. So you can
definitely give it a go.
Characters.
Yeah. I think next week's issue or next issue 2. I think this is monthly as well. So there's a fair gap before, and I think this is 12 issues. So a year's worth of commitment that you have for this book. But there's a Joshua Middleton Wonder Woman cover for issue number 2. And I'd assume we're going to get some Wonder Woman in this for next issue. So that'll be interesting to see what that Tom Taylor does with that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think my problem at the moment is with DC and Marvel in general is the fact that they have such rich characters that have so much going for them, with like so much background and history, and they have so many things they could do with new characters, that they could change things, they could mix things up a little bit, like stop rehashing the same old stories with the same old characters and maybe use some of the new ones. I did like that he used some of his the newer the Robins, like Cassie Kane and what's her name? Is it not Splinter? Is it the one who wears the purple?
Somebody to chat. Shane will know.
Yeah,
Shane's a DC fan. DC fan.
I like,
but no, I totally get that. But again, I think they put themselves under a lot of pressure because they have this back catalogue of characters.
Yeah.
And they've tried in Batman to introduce new characters, but they do it every issue by the looks of things, you know what I mean? So I think the best word is disjointed. It just feels a lot of DC's a bit disjointed at the minute. It just needs to be brought together.
Spoiler. Thank you, Shane. That's what it's called. Spoiler. Splinter. He's a rat.
And I just let it go. I was just like, yeah, Splinter. Well, yeah.
He's not a purple rat.
It's not a purple rat. So this is this is Dark Knights of Steel. But don't take my word for it. Don't take Tom's word for it. Go out and buy it and read it for yourself, and let us know what you think. Write a message in the comments once you've read it and see who you agree with. I'd be interested to see what Charlie thought of this book as well.
He loved it.
Did he like it? Yeah. Okay. Next up, and this was the viewer's choice. So every week on YouTube, we put a little poll to see what books the viewers would like us to review. So we basically all pick a book extra each. And I think I actually picked the Silver Coin issue number 6 as my extra book.
All right. Mr. Popular.
You know what can I say? I've got good taste. No, but yes, I was glad that I would have happily read any of the 3 books actually that we picked as our extras because it was such a good week last week. But yeah, so this is Silver Coin issue number 6. So this has come back after the first arc up to issue number 5, and it was previously only meant to be a 5-issue series, but because it was so popular and it was so well received, we've decided to continue it. And this is us with issue number 6. The main cover by Michael Walsh. Cover B there is by James Harren, and Michael Walsh basically does all the artwork for every single issue, and it's different writers that do the story. So on this issue, it was Joshua Williamson, which I was really excited about. So Tom, I'll maybe let you kick off. What did you think of Silver Coin issue number 6?
Well, you can try and let me kick off, but I have to be complete and utterly honest. I have had 2 call-outs this week, and I didn't get a chance to read it.
No, that's all right, mate. You were saving lives. Do you know what I mean?
I actually was this week.
Oh, really? Oh, well, welcome. Thank you for your service, my friend.
You're welcome.
Well, listen, I will jump in, and if anybody in the chat has read this, I'd like to hear what you guys thought of this as well. So,
sell it to me, Andy.
So, this for me, I stopped at issue number 5 on my pull list, and then I seen the cover for this issue, and then I seen that Ram V was doing issue number 7, and I very quickly put it back on my pull list. I thought this cover was really intriguing. I seen that it had that sort of Batman homage on the right hand side. It's called Bitman, and then you'll see on the left hand side it's Nailbiter, which was one of the books that Joshua Williamson actually done back in the day. So I was really intrigued to see what this was about, and it's fair to say that issue 1 to 5 is offered as something slightly different each issue for the reader, and there was also something to take away, and you were kind of wondering what was happening with this coin. And I thought issue 5 summed it up perfectly when it gave you that sort of backstory to what the coin was all about. And I was really looking forward to getting into issue 6 because I knew about the coin and I knew its backstory, and I thought it would allow me to be more invested, which seems strange being invested in a coin, but being a little bit more invested as in the horror aspect of it. But for this issue, just it didn't do it for me, I'm afraid. it was okay. It was just okay, but it was just a little bit too predictable for me. I think the fact that this whole premise is all about a coin, and they center this round about the fact that the coin gets used in one of these machines that the kid is trying to play, and he becomes part of the game, and he plays and plays and plays throughout the day. And when the people come to shut down the shop or close the shop for the day, he turns around and he becomes one of the characters. And then the next morning, when the other kids are going to play the game, they go to play it, and he's actually one of the characters that you can choose in the game, which was quite a cool little twist.
Yeah.
I think it's always a real challenge to cram a one-off story, because these are all one-shots.
Yeah.
But what I did notice about this issue is there was a little sort of playback to, I think it was issue 3, when the girl in the forest basically annihilates everybody in the camp, and they actually mentioned that in this book. So I'm kind of really hoping that they'll maybe tie this all in, and they'll bring all the characters that we've seen in each of the issues and bring them back into one big issue, so they all meet up and it all kind of starts to make sense to them. That it was just okay for me. It wasn't a fantastic Silver Coin issue, but I'm all in because the next issue is Ram V doing it, and for me, Ram V can do very little wrong at the moment. I'm really interested. I know you haven't read it, but let me know in the chat, guys, if any of you guys have read it. I'd be really interested to know what you thought. And if you're watching the rewind, then definitely let us know in the comments. But that was the Silver Coin issue number 6. I won't give it a binner, but I won't give it a killer. This issue, it was just an okay read.
Awesome. I will probably read this.
Did that sell it to you, Tom? Did that sell it to you?
You did. You did, mate. I mean, I like video games, so I'm sold. So I'll probably read this tomorrow. Oh, if anyone's in the chat and knows of any video game style bars in Leeds, let us know. Or Harrogate.
Ooh, that's not a bad show.
I'm up to go into an arcade bar.
One that you can consume alcohol in would be fantastic as well. Okay, so that is all our reviews for this week, but we've still got more, guys. We've still got more to give you here. And next up, we have... Killer Keys!
Killer Keys! Killer Keys! Keys Killer!
Is this for November 17th, Tom? This is
it is
4 books that you've picked up. You've delved deep into the previews magazine to pick up some of these killers to let everybody know.
I have indeed. So yeah, this is the killer picks or killer key picks for next week, which is the 17th of November. So first up is the Dark Ages issue 3 by Tom Taylor and artwork by Iban Kelalo, who is actually going to be at Thor Bubble. So we actually get a chance to meet him this weekend. So I'm excited about that. The reason this is a key is because it's the second appearance of this symbiote style Miles Morales character, and also we get to find out a little bit more about Apocalypse's new ability to manipulate others, which he's picked up, and we get to find out a little bit more about what's happened to Steve Rogers, who obviously, I don't know if you might not have read issue 2, so spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
There's a bit with Steve Rogers and Mystique, so we get to find out a little bit about what happened to him, as it were. So that's going to be an interesting book, and I actually really think this is a great book at the moment. I do really enjoyed it.
Tom, I found this. We haven't used this for a while.
Found it. Spoiler warning.
I love this series.
Me too.
We spoke about fun comics, and I think this is one of those ones where this is taking you back in the day where you went and picked up your first comic off the rack and just enjoyed comics for what they were and didn't get consumed with all the nonsense. But this is Tom Taylor at his best for me.
100%, mate. And I like the fact that he's gone back to like the basics is they have no electricity. There's no technology that works. However, Iron Man's all steampunked up. I love that.
Yeah,
I just think it's great.
And as you say, Iban Coelho is going to be at Thought Bubble, and the art in this is fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next up.
So next up is issue 1 of Robins. We spoke about Batman and Robin last week. This one is written by Tim Seal, and the artwork is by Baldemir Rivs. And this one is going to be the first appearance of one of Batman's proteges that we've never come across before, who is possibly going to be the first ever Robin he ever had before Dick Grayson. So that's the idea and premise behind it. It's exactly the same premise as the Batman and Robin book that I spoke about last week. So I don't know if they kind of cross over with each other. But this one is about the Robins finding this out and then trying to track that Robin down. So this is the first time all of the Robins, as in Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Damian, and Dick Grayson, have actually teamed up in one book.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the first time they've done that, all the Robins together. So this should be an interesting one to read if you're a Robins fan.
And that's where my query is, like, how many comic readers would go out their way to read a book about Robins?
Well, that's the thing. I would read a book about Jason Todd, but that's probably about as far as I'd go.
Yeah, like there has to be, and I guess Tim Seeley's got a really hard job to, if he's not just concentrating on one of them, but all of them, is to make us invested in all those Robins and to actually care.
Spoilers in this as well, to be fair.
Spoiler.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Or Splinter, sorry, she's in it too.
Splinter. Next up, we have.
So yeah, next up, sticking with Tom Taylor. So this is written by Tom Taylor and artwork by John Timms. This is the Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 5. This is the controversial issue that is going around the internet at the moment because Kal-El's son, Jonathan Kane, is about to come out as being bisexual. That's why this is a key book to pick up, because it's the first time this has happened. Think of it what you may, take it for what it is, whatever whatever your opinion is of it. It is what it is. That's what they've done. It is a controversial issue because people are hating it and some people are loving it, but it's entirely up to you what you think. And I mean, I'm going to pick it up because I actually do think this has been a pretty good story. The Superman Son of Kal-El has actually been an all right series to read. I think Tom Taylor's doing great things. So yeah, there you go. There's that one.
Cool. It would be nice to get to a world where storylines like this aren't actually controversial, and this doesn't become a key for that, and it's just another story in another book. But yeah,
the thing is though, like I do like there are some like controversial things that have been said about this, and I do agree with a couple of people who have said, why have they done it with one of the main characters when they've got so many other characters that are already bisexual or like already that don't need to come out, that they could expand their universe rather than making someone someone big. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you. No, I'll be interested. I mean, it's not a book that I was reading anyway.
It's a good story.
I'm not a Superman fan. So all I'm hearing is the hearsay and what people are saying and what people dislike and what people like about it. But each to their own. Enjoy your comics. That's I think that's the thing to take away from this.
Definitely. It's a fun read. Okay, so next up, it is the next era or next set of comics for Kate Bishop. So I think this might be her second solo title, and it's Hawkeye Kate Bishop. And this is a key comic because obviously the Hawkeye series is coming up over Christmas, which I know are all very excited about. I mean, I personally am extremely excited about it. But this is a key issue because this is the it's the first appearance and a reintroduction of Kate's little sister, who we actually have only heard about in hearsay, and she spoke about within Young Avengers. But this is the first time we actually get to see her in this book.
Nice.
So she could be quite a big thing.
And we've got Hawkeye coming out on the 24th of November, the first 2 episodes, I believe. Yeah. We should do something for that, Tom.
We should.
Charlie, we should, and maybe get some guests on to have a chat about Hawkeye. That'd be pretty cool.
Let's do it, mate. Yeah. Or how about we like stream it live, us watching it?
Because then we would get kicked off the internet for copyright.
That is true.
So you've pulled all these killer keys together, and this little QR code, if people take a little picture of it, will take you to where, Tom?
it will take you to the nice little place known as notquitemint.com, where we are currently doing a 30% sale, but not at this very second because the website is having maintenance done. But it will be up and running after this show. Will be 30% off absolutely everything on notquitemint.com. And if there's anything you want that I don't necessarily have on the shop, but you know what the code is for previews for December or January, let me know because I can get it. You just need to let me know if you want it, because otherwise it just doesn't happen. So there you go.
Nice. So definitely go and check that out. Before we move on to our next segment, that sounded really official. I'm going to have a wee look at the chat here, and I can see that Dave Collects has joined us. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's listening well. He's at work. We really appreciate you listening, Dave. Thank you so much. Mark Oldroyd is saying that robins are generally high territorial throughout the year and are often seen posturing to each other and even fighting to the death. Not good as a team.
I've been described as a robin.
Is Mark a bit of a twitcher? That's what they call bird watchers, isn't it? I wasn't just rude to Mark, was I? It's a twitcher.
Is Mark a bit of a twitcher? I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen Mark.
I'm sure that is the name for him. And Sean is saying that Son of Kal-El has been a great read.
It has been a good read.
There we go. So what have we got up next? We've done that. We may as well get into this.
This is Andy's fault from Perpetual Comics. Pep.
Greatest intro ever.
It gets me every time.
If I have the pleasure of, that's the thing. If I get the pleasure of meeting Triple G this weekend, tomorrow even, I want to do that live on Instagram. That would be great if he just introduces my Instagram live by this is Perpetual.
Do you know what? I feel like we need to get him to like when we go live at any point, it should just start with, well, this is Andy's fault.
Do you know, he's not the first one to say that. There's a lot of people that say that. It's Andy's fault.
I say it all the
time. But guys, this is the Killer Indies for November 17th. So I've picked some of the books that I think will should be on your radar. So first up is Stillwater issue number 12. And guys, you're probably getting a wee bit bored of us going on and on about Stillwater. If you've not started reading Stillwater, then what are you doing? The second arc third arc has been fantastic. This is the third arc actually. Has been absolutely brilliant. We've already spoken about Chip Zdarsky. The twist that this has taken and the turn that it's taken is taking a really dark, sort of sinister edge to it. And the story writing was absolute perfection all the way up to the first and second arc, and then it's just got, dare I say, it's got better in my opinion. Ramon Perez's artwork is absolutely sublime on it as well. We're 12 issues in now, so we're pretty deep into this one, guys, but it's well worth it. I'd definitely pick up the trade and give this a go. Tom, I know that you've been enjoying this one as well.
I have, mate. Yeah, very, very much so. It's one of my favourite reads, Stillwater. It's been definitely one of the best go-to books.
Definitely, 100%. So that's Stillwater issue number 12. It's my first indie pick of the week. Next up is Primordial issue number 3. This is written by Jeff Lemire and art by the absolutely amazing Andrea Sorrentino.
I love these covers.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. If there's any reason other than Jeff Lemire's absolutely sublime writing skills and Andrea Sorrentino's artwork, these covers, when I think there's 5 or 6 issues of this for the run, seeing these next to each other with the different animals. So the first one was the monkey, wasn't it? And then the second one was the dog.
I can't remember. Yeah. Possibly, yes. Because there are 2 monkeys.
Yeah, and then this is obviously the third one. So yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic series. And Dave Stewart, I think, does the color work on this as well, if I remember rightly. So it's a superb read, and is always going to be on my list for killer indie picks of the week until people listen and start picking up. So next up we have
Oh,
this.
yes, Andy.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a sort of a little bit of a side curve. This I say, a curveball. This one. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin design book. So I have this on order with notquitemint.com, and I can't wait to see this. I've been picking up all the issues and all the second printings for The Last Ronin, and this specifically looks at Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, as artwork, and it takes you sort of behind the scenes of the design, the concept art, and the sort of thinking, the thought process behind The Last Ronin. Let's face it, they've been milking it a little bit because there's like 50 odd printings for this book. And I think we're not getting the last issue until February, March next year.
Yep.
So it's been a long slog to actually enjoy and take in this book. So if you haven't read any of the issues so far, you might just want to wait until the trade or the omnibus comes out. I'm sure that'll probably later on next year sometime.
Probably be the same time as the final issue.
I would imagine that at the pace that they're going. But this, for me, if anybody's like me enjoys the concept and the thought process behind artwork and wants to see those designs that Kevin Eastman would have done for the characters, then I think this is a good book to pick up. It's not a cheap one. I think it's $9.99, something like that. But I love the cover, love the artwork. Tom, you'll probably be interested in this one. You'd be picking this up.
Yeah, I've got one of these coming for myself. Something that people might not have noticed, and I think you probably have, Andy, is this cover. People think this is exactly the cover they used for issue 1, and it's just a reprint. It's not. This is Kevin Eastman's original drawing for cover 1.
Ah, okay.
So
it's like the art is proof.
Yeah,
it's like the art is proof type
completely
thing.
different cover.
That's
people
cool.
think it's a reprint. It's not. It's a completely different cover.
Because funny, Jock done something similar. I don't know if you've seen that there's going to be an exclusive print that's available at Thought Bubble. It's free of charge, and it's actually just you remember that when we done the interview with Jock, he showed us the actual cover of issue number 1.
Yeah,
it had like the staple marks and stuff like that. Well, this is actually just like a scan of that you can pick up at Thought Bubble at one of the tables. So I can't wait to pick that up.
I'm sure we will find it, mate, when we get in there.
Fingers crossed. ABZ is just saying here that he picked up Stillwater 1 to 10 for $15.99, including postage, about 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. That's not been cheap at all. That's been wise. If you can get it for that price, do it, my friend. And the guys are talking about cons and stuff. So we'll move on to the next one. And
I nearly put this in my killer keys.
Dude, this is... I can't wait for this. I'm so excited for this. This is definitely going to be my read of whatever week this comes up at. So the week after next. So this is Radio Apocalypse, issue number 1. And this is Ram V and Anand Rajnakrishnan. I think I nailed that surname. Hopefully I did.
Hey, so better than what I'd have done.
I went for it. So you might remember whenever we done the creator spotlight for Ram V, there was a couple, maybe 2 or 3 books that Ram V and Anand had partnered together and worked on so back in the day. So it's good to see these guys back together working on a book because Anand's artwork is always spectacular. And Ram V, as I say, can't do no wrong. So Radio Apocalypse, I think, is a 5-issue series that Ram V is doing. And for me, it feels as if it's kind of went under the radar a little bit. I think Venom has been the big Ram V book that everybody's been talking about and looking forward to. So I think, and this is through Vault Comics as well. So make sure that you try and pick this up because I think it will be a fantastic read if any of the previous Ram V books are anything to go by. What about yourself, Tom? What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. As soon as I read it, it was like, oh, it's Ram V. And the whole premise about it being this, a radio station in the book of the apocalypse, I kind of like the idea of it. And I was like, because it reminded me a little bit of the silent play, what's the film called? It's the silent thing, A Quiet Place, number 2, where there's a radio station, and it reminded me of that. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And there's a bit in Fallout, I think, the video game with radio stations, like in the middle of the apocalypse, and they just kind of intrigued me a little bit. Like, why would you need it?
Anything with apocalypse and all that sort of stuff in it is intriguing, but just that concept of like it being a radio station, and it's just it's pure Ram V. It's just a little bit like out there to a certain extent. It's like just taking a completely different concept.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I like how that there's very minimal color in the cover, and the only color is where sound comes from.
Yes.
All the other colors are like everything else is where sound wouldn't necessarily come from. So the windows are colored, the dishes are colored because that's obviously where the sound comes from. She's colored or he's colored at the front because it's where sound comes from. I thought that was really clever.
Only an artist would have picked that up, Tom. So fair play. Yeah. So that's Video Apocalypse issue number 1. And that has been my killer indie picks.
And where can people go to find out a bit more about their killer picks or indie picks?
If they're really that way and they want to come and hear more of my dulcet tones, they can come to Instagram. I'm at perpetual.comics and also on Twitter at Perpetual Comics. So again, you can take a camera shot of the
Bear with me.
Hopefully it will take you to where you need to go. If not, then you know where you can see me every Thursday. I'm here every Thursday. So yeah, that was my killer indies. I don't know how Charlie does this every week, honestly, God. We've got one more thing to do, and that's where we talk about our do you know what? I've actually made a boo-boo. We've got 2 things to go. So guys, stick with us. Stick with us. We have
2 things to go.
We have these. We forgot about our killer trades. Our killer trades. Come on, Andy. What's going on here? So we started this off last week, guys, where and this was a fantastic idea by Comics versus the World, who was sort of asking us, well, you know, people that don't pick up single issues, what about the guys that pick up, whether it be omnibuses or trade paperbacks and things like that? We thought, you know what, that's a really good idea. So why don't we try and feature a little bit like we do the killer indies, some of the killer trades that are going to come out. And we're all working together on this. So I know that there's been a couple added since I pulled mine together, but the first one that jumped out at me and smack in the face that I knew that I was going to have to pick up, and it wasn't until I actually checked previews that I realized that it was coming out, was Sea of Sorrows, that collects issue number 1 to 5 by Rich Duke and Alex Cormack, friends of the show. We've had them on, so definitely go check out the interview that we've done with those guys. It feels like a lifetime ago since we were reviewing Sea of Sorrows, and it was such a fantastic book. It's still arguably one of my top books of this year. And I would like us all like do our top maybe 5 books at the end of the year, because it'd be interesting to see what we all pick. But yeah, Christmas show, yeah. That's another idea. Let's get on that. Charlie, get on that Christmas show. Sea of Sorrows was just a fantastic story. The artwork is sublime. The cover work is amazing. And I'm just hoping there's little sort of Easter eggs in here, little design concepts of the artwork and stuff and the ideas and concepts that Rich talked us through on the show is maybe in this book. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up. It's 128 pages. It's going to be RRP of about $17.99. So that's probably what, about 15, 16 quid at your LCS, something thereabouts. But this is due out the 16th of November. So make sure you pick that up. Tom, one that you're going to be picking up. You love this book.
I did love this book. Probably won't pick up the trade because I've got all the single issues.
See, I've got all the issues as well. That's the thing. I think I've got cover B as well. But I think I'm just intrigued to see if there's any like extras in this. I'll definitely pick up.
I think if it has got extras, I probably will sell my single issues and get the trade. But I have to wait for someone else to get it for me to find out because I'm a bit psyched.
Listen, I'll do that. I'll buy it and I'll even send it to you so you can have a look and decide if you want.
You send it to me and I'll have a look and then not send it you back.
Standard. Right. Next up, what have we got? Oh yeah. So this is one that I know that a few of the people that watch the show will be interested in. I know Sean's a big Joe Hill fan. This is Plunge trade paperback, and this collects issues 1 to 6. Written by Joe Hill and Stuart Immonen done the artwork. And I'm going to be completely transparent. I haven't read Plunge. I haven't read any of the issues. Tom, have you read any of them?
It actually, when we first did Not Quite Mint, this was one of my picks for me and Rich to read, and I actually think it was the week that he decided we weren't going to be doing them anymore.
Right, okay. Whoopsies.
So I actually never got around to reading it, but it was on my radar of ones to read. And the reason I wanted to read it is because it reminded me very much of. Do you remember the film The Day After Tomorrow, where
Yes.
the whole apocalypse thing happens, and there's the ship comes through New York, and then it freezes, and they have to go on the boat to get medical supplies. It reminded me very much of that, and I was like, "Oh, I need to read that," but no, I never got to read it.
I'm going to let Sean pick this one up, and then I'm going to get it loaned off Sean, and then I'll let you know what it's like, Tom. But
and then you can send it to me, and I won't send it back to either of you.
Sharing is caring. That's what it says.
Absolutely.
Shane's off to get some beauty sleep, but we appreciate
Good night,
joining.
Shane.
Thank you for joining and taking part in the chat. There we go, Sean. Now we're talking. James is a big fan of the word plunge. So.
Well, yeah, but I think James is probably thinking if you take the P and change it for a G.
Moving on. Sean's saying that he's got all the single issues. So, Sean, you can tell us what it's like tomorrow when we are sinking a few beers.
So when we're at karaoke.
Absolutely. I can't wait. And next up, we have Catwoman Volume 3, The Valley of the Shadow of Death. And this collects issues 29 to 33. And it's going to have an RRP of $16.99. And Ram V is doing the writing on these issues. And the covers are by the amazing Jenny Frisson. I think all of the covers are by Jenny. So that's another reason to pick this up. But yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't read the issues that I've picked up. They've been completely cover buys, because Catwoman really isn't on my radar, to be honest with you. But if you haven't been picking up the issues, definitely go and pick up this volume 3.
I would recommend picking up the Catwoman issues that are keys. There are a lot of first appearances in the Catwoman series. And there are talks of a TV show.
Intriguing.
Which is why they're pushing her so much on everything.
I wonder if Ram V will have any advanced copies of this at Thought Bubble. That would be interesting.
Possibly, mate, yeah. I love this cover.
It's lovely, absolutely beautiful. And the next one, I don't know if this was you, Tom, or it might have been Charlie that picked.
I actually will be honest, I didn't add any trades. I have got a couple to add, but I'll do it for next week now.
Do it for next week, yeah, 100%. So Charlie's picked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This collects issues 13 to 18. It's going to have an RRP of about $17.99. And this is another person that's going to Thought Bubble. This is written by Al Ewing with various artists. I think it's Juan Friguera and Federico Blee doing the artwork and colouring on this. Again, not something that I've been reading. Sorry, Al. Tom, help me out here. Have you been reading
story? This? I've not read the most up-to-date versions of this. I've missed quite a few issues, but this has actually been a really good read, The Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's been really, really good. It started well. It's just developed on, I don't know if anyone in the chat has been reading it, but they kind of, the first couple of issues in, you lose some of the main characters. And then there's this kind of a rampage going on. It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I think I would have to go back and I'd probably wait for the omnibus to come out, because I haven't read any of the issues, because I think jumping into issue 13 and 18, then I'd probably have to get the other two as well. So,
but the beautiful thing about when they do this, when they do the trade paperbacks, is 13 to 19 is a story arc. So you don't necessarily have to have read anything beforehand.
But I'm a completionist though, Tom. That's the thing. I'd have to get them. I just need to get them. So that's our 4.
Banned to the outside rather than the inside of the house.
Yeah, exactly. This is the 4 trade paperbacks, or killer trades for this week that's coming out next Tuesday, Wednesday. So definitely go and check those out if any take your interest. And we'll quickly go into our sneak peeks for next week. So this is where we give everybody a sort of idea of what we're going to be picking as our read of the week, so that you guys can read along, as it were, so that we're not spoiling too much for you. The first up is my pick for next week. It's What's the Furthest Place from Here? And this is written by Matthew Rosenberg. And I cannot wait for this book. I think it is going to be absolutely fantastic. I've heard mixed reviews so far, because obviously it's out this week and I haven't read it yet. but I will do obviously for next week. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I don't know if it's going to be everybody's sort of cup of tea, but you know what I'm like with Mandy's. I like to go and pick something that not everybody would pick.
Absolutely, mate.
So,
but you always seem to pick really good books, which is very, very annoying.
Sometimes.
When you try and pick books and everything you pick is gold and everything I pick is crap.
Sometimes, Tom. Sometimes, Tom.
Oh yeah, I mean there is Scout's honor. Oh, yeah.
Moving on. Next up, Venom.
So yeah, I decided that my pick next week is going to be Venom, written by Ramvi and Al Ewing, who I'm hopefully going to share a beer with this weekend, and I can actually talk to them about Venom. The biggest problem I've got is the fact that they were supposed to be dropped in my lap yesterday, and they still haven't arrived. So thank you, Diamond. But yeah, stick with your Diamond and your LCS guys. It is a problem they've got going on. It's not, not just me.
Yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up, guys. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what Al Ewing and Ramvi are going to do with this one. So cheers for picking that one. And this is Charlie's pick, and we've mentioned Stillwater before, so we're going to read issue number 11 of Stillwater. Not much to say about this that I've not already said. So that is our 3 books for next week.
Just come across now. Is Stillwater bi-weekly? It's every other week? Because you've just picked it as one of your indies for next week, but we're reading it for last week.
I think it's every 2 weeks, or there might have been a slight delay in one of the issues. I think that might have been it. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that is tonight's show, guys. First of all, thank you to everybody that's joined the chat, that's watching, everybody that's commented, everybody that's going to watch the rewind. We really, really appreciate it. We're really looking forward to meeting up tomorrow. We're going to be meeting up tomorrow. We're going to
tomorrow, mate.
I'm catching my flight with James and Sean, and we will be.
This face gets to meet that face.
Indeed, and I don't know who's more lucky or unlucky. No, it's going to be
the unlucky one, mate.
I don't know. It's going to be fantastic, and we're really looking forward to it. We're going to meet a lot of the guys in the community that do other shows, and it should be really, really good fun. Let me just run through the last of the chat. Sean, that's probably one of the comments to leave on, probably.
Comment of the week goes to Sean.
Exactly, absolutely. Thanks very much, Triple G. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Well, it's Triple G's fault.
That's it. It's all Triple G's. It's always his fault.
Triple.
And this is what we always say to Sean every single time. That's all we say to Sean. So before we go, Tom, do you just want to let everybody know what you've got planned? Is there anything that you want to tell them about the shop? Any final thoughts? Like Jerry?
Yes. So obviously we've mentioned it earlier. There is a 30% sale on Not Quite Mint, which will go live as soon as this is finished. And my art prints are all up there now. The A4s are all up there. I've still got to upload the A3s, so bear with me on that. It's still taking time getting the artwork uploaded. They're massive files. It is a bit of a pain in the ass. There are going to be no Not Quite Mint deliveries next week. Mainly because I'm catching myself up now because of Diamond messing with my order this week. So I haven't had a chance to do this week's orders. So I'm going to do them all next week at the end of next week. So you'll get your orders the following week, if that makes sense. So yeah, I will. It's in my bag, mate, ready to go. It's down there on the floor, ready to go.
Or you won't get a hug from James, apparently. So
well. There you go then. And
he probably won't bring it now.
Hopefully, at some point in December or around December, January-ish, there might be a certain sale that might happen, and there will be signed comics that I am getting done at Thought Bubble this weekend that will be available at that point, and also there will be some CGCs to go off that you guys can pick up from notquitemint.com as well. So bear with me on that. It's going to take a little while, but they will be about soon.
Watch that space. And you can find me, as I say, guys, at perpetual.comics on Instagram and Perpetual Comics on Twitter if you so wish to come and check me out and give me a follow. But other than that, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. Probably worth adding us on social, because you just never know when we're going to go live during this weekend and what sort of state we're probably going to be in. But yeah, there's nothing left to say. But Charlie, I hope work's going well and you're not working too hard. And I will see you tomorrow. But we will see you all next week, next Thursday, for another Killer Comic Show. Thanks very much, guys. Take it easy.
Stay safe.
And
stay sexy, guys.